Excel Chapter 2, pages 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100. First of all, you need to start on page 95 and read about highlighting cells with conditional formats. When you're working with conditional formatting, you've got to read the information in the textbook, or all you're going to be doing is clicking buttons that I tell you to click, and you're not actually going to understand the how and the why behind it. So please ensure that you read the bottom of page 95 and page 96 prior to starting this exercise. All right, page 96. To highlight the positive sales numbers. Step number 1, select the range C37 to J48. So C37 to J48. This range shows the difference in sales by region and month for 2011 and 2012. Step number 2. In the Styles group on the Home tab, click the Conditional Formatting button. Home tab, Styles group, the Conditional Formatting button. Point 2, highlight cells rules. The first selection, cascading menu, click greater than. The greater than dialog box opens. You want to highlight those regions and months in which sales increased, which means that they are greater than 0. Step number 3. Type 0, make sure it's not the letter O and that it is a 0, in the format cells that are greater than box. So right here, format cells that are greater than 0. Click the with arrow. This is with, so hit that down pointing arrow and select green fill with dark green text. Green fill with dark green text. Click OK. Step number 5. Click cell A35 to deselect the range. Cells with positive numbers are highlighted in green. Look at figure 2-33 at the top of page 97 and compare it to your spreadsheet and ensure that they match. If they don't, you might have to undo and go back and try those steps again. When you're sure that your spreadsheet matches figure 2-33, read that little brief paragraph on page 97 so that you'll know what we're doing and why, and then we're going to move on to how to clear a conditional format. Select the range C37 through J48. C37 through J48. In the Styles group on the Home tab, click Conditional Formatting button. Point to Clear Rules and then click Clear Rules from selected cells. Clear Rules, cascading menu, Clear Rules from selected cells. The current highlighting is removed. Now, add a conditional format that highlights the regions and months that rank in the top 10% in terms of net sales increase from 2011 to 2012. To highlight the top 10% in sales increase, step number 1. Make sure the range C37 through J48 is still selected. C37 through J48. In the Styles group, click the Conditional Formatting button. Point to the top bottom rules, and when that cascading menu comes up, make the selection top 10%. Verify that 10 is entered in the percentage box. Click the with arrow. Remember it says with right here. That makes this the with box and that the with arrow. Then click green fill with dark green text. Click OK. Cells whose sales increase for 2011 and 2012 were in the top 10% are highlighted in green. Click cell A35 to deselect so that you can see the changes. Reach up and hit Save. Turn to page 98. Compare figure 2-34 to your spreadsheet and make sure that your spreadsheet looks just like figure 2-34. If it doesn't, you might need to undo and go back and try those steps again. Now, read the very brief couple of paragraphs on page 98 if you haven't done so already. Again, you won't understand why we're doing what we're doing unless you read these paragraphs. Page 98, to highlight the bottom 10% in sales increases, select the range C37 through J48. In the Styles group on the Home tab, click the Conditional Formatting button, point to the top bottom rules, and then click Bottom 10%. Top bottom rules, bottom 10%. Verify that 10 is entered in the percentage box and that light red fill with dark red text is selected in the with box. So 10% in the percentage box. The with box says light red fill with dark red text. Click OK. Red cells highlight the regions and the months that placed in the bottom 10% for sales increases from 2011 to 2012. Go ahead and click in A35. Now take a look at this spreadsheet. You don't want to be in the red, do you? You want to be in the green. So the green is showing the top 10%, while the red shows the bottom 10%. Reach up and hit Save. Let's take a look at page 99. Okay, first of all, compare your spreadsheet to figure 2-35 and ensure that yours matches. Read the two brief paragraphs that are on page 99 before you go on to create a conditional formatting legend. All right, page 99, step number 1. In cell D51, scroll down, there's D, and there's 51. Type light red. Then click cell D51 to make it active. You will use a highlight rule to fill this cell with a light red color used for the bottom 10% sales increases. Step number 2. In the Styles group on the Home tab, click the Conditional Formatting button. Okay, you may have to click off and back onto it. So we are clicked in cell D51. If you look up at your ribbon and your buttons are ghosted out, they're not available, just click on another cell, then click back on cell D51. All right, so we want to go to Conditional Formatting. Point to the Highlight Cells rules, and then click Text that contains. Number 3, verify that light red appears in the format cells that contain the text box. See it right there where it says light red? Now, make sure that your with box says light red fill with dark red text. When you have that all set, go ahead and click OK. Cell D51 is filled with the same light red fill color used for the bottom 10% values. Step number 4, in cell D52, always check your address box. Cell D52, type light green. All right. Deselect and then hop back on it, okay? That way, just take my word for it and do that. In the Styles group, we're going to go Conditional Formatting, Highlight Cells Rules, Text that contains, turn the page to page 100. Step number 6. Verify that light green appears in the format cells that contain the text box, and select green fill with dark green text in the width box. Now notice your width box still says light red, so we have to change that to the green. Once you do that, you are going to click on OK. Step number 7. In cell E51, enter bottom 10% in terms of sales increases. If you are not a very fast typist, this would be the time to press the pause button and get that in there. Okay, take a look at step number 7. Bottom 10%. Bottom 10% in terms of sales, oh not ales, although do we sell ale? Sales increase. Alright. Select cell, click into cell E52 and type top 10% in terms of sales increase. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to grab that and pull it down. Did you see what I did? I clicked on cell E51, I got on the bottom right hand corner, and when I get a plus sign, I'm going to use my left mouse button and pull down. That copied it down. Okay? Now, all we need to do is change the word bottom to top, right? I prefer to work up here. You can work wherever you want. You can work in the cell, you can work up here. And there we go. So now we have bottom 10% in terms of sales increase, top 10% in terms of sales increase. And oopsie, did I? No, I got that right. Top 10, bottom 10, sales increase. Perfect. Now, select the range E51, so click on E51, and go down to E51, there we go, E51 to E52. In your format these cells, I've been talking a long time. You'll format these cells with a cell style to distinguish them from the rest of the text in the worksheet. Step number 9. In the Styles group, click the Cells Styles button. Okay, remember, you may have to hit the More button instead. And then, in the Data and Model section, okay, so remember that this is good, bad, and neutral, data and model, right there. So in the data and model section, click explanatory, the third cell style in the first row. It's right there. See it? Click it. Click cell A35 to deselect. I don't know why we keep clicking on A35, but that must make them happy to be our deselection. And now what you've done is you've created a legend that explains to anyone who's looking at this what the light red and the light green actually mean. Okay, because when they looked at it before, it was just highlighted numbers. Now you have a legend that explains what those highlighted numbers actually mean. Reach up and hit save. All right, now it's time to do some reading. Okay. Very, very important that you read what's on the bottom of page 100 and everything on 101 before we go on to the next video.